The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. And tonight we bring you to the Astrodome in Houston, Texas for this big game between the Pittsburgh Pirates and Houston Astros. Last night, the Astros drew first blood, and then Jim Bibby and company rolled through Houston. Enos Cabell starts the first with a single. He has a 17-game hitting streak. And then in the second, he singled home Art Howe to make it 1-0 Houston. But that was the high water mark for the Astros, or the high spot. What's the word I'm looking for? It's the, I forget now. Screw it. The high point, the apogee of the orbit for the Astros. That's not the word, but that's what I'm sticking with and going for that. In the third, Pittsburgh mercifully took the lead for me to stop thinking about it. Bill Robinson doubled home Dave Parker to tie the game at 1, and then Rennie Sinnett with a sac fly to make it 2-1 Pittsburgh. They had 3 hits in the fourth and couldn't score. And in the sixth, they opened it up. Frank Tavares tripled home Duffy Dyer to make it 3-1. Then on a wild pitch by Bannister, Tavares scored to make it 4-1. Heaven might be missing an angel, but they got a run in Pittsburgh. Bill Robinson a sac fly to make it 5-1 in the eighth. Another Robinson single to score Frank Tavares to make it 6-1. Tavares 4 for 6, a triple and 2 runs. Jim Bibby goes to 4-0. Pittsburgh gets a badly needed win as they hold on to first place in the National League East. As Retro Sports Network presents Major League Baseball Replay 1978 tonight from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. It is the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Houston Astros, brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the internet for your sports simulation and replay needs. DigitalDice.com. Find us on Spreaker, Spotify, or iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. And again, on accident, I found a good pitching matchup for you. We got Don Robinson for the Pirates, who are 35-32, and J.R. Richard, who surprisingly is off to a bad start, 4-4 with a 3.95 ERA, goes on the hill for Houston in this biggie from the Astrodome. And remember, the Astrodome is a big, big park, but this is where Houston's season is going to be made or make or break for Houston right here, because they play so much better at home. This was a team that was built on pitching and speed and not power. And I'll tell you right off the bat, right-handed hitters at the Astrodome, their chances of a home run are 48% lower in Houston than they are for the league average. So talk about putting runs together, that's exactly what Houston has to do. Playing good baseball right now. They're a game and a half, I believe, behind the Dodgers. We'll get to that in a little bit. Meanwhile, anytime Pittsburgh wins, it does give them a little more separation between them, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Montreal Expos. Now, I've done the next schedule for the next 11 days. And in 5 game days, we'll just put this out there right now, the first of 15 meetings at Fenway Park between the Yankees and the Red Sox. I know you're all looking forward to that. All right, so J.R. Richard, Don Robinson on a beautiful day in Houston because, just like the rest of us, they're indoors. And hello, Elin, Kurt Berglund, Robbie got an ad for Queeby. Al, Red Sox fan, how are you? Glad to have you along. You must be not working from the work bunker. And Festus, like the rest of us at Chatter, how are you? So glad to have all you along on a Friday afternoon. No game tomorrow. We'll do a Patreon thingy tomorrow. Yet Queeby is designed for mobile. It's episodes of series for mobile phones, so nothing more than 10 minutes. How you doing, DC? So no 78 game tomorrow. We resume Sunday at noon, Monday night at 7, and then Tuesday through Friday at noon. That's the plan anyway. And we'll do some Patreon stuff for you. Saturday's Game 4 between the Expos of 1994 and the Astros, the Nats of 2019. On the hill is one J.R. Richard. He is making, yes, for those with really short attention spans. J.R. Richard making his 14th start of the year. He is 4-4 on the replay with a 3.95 ERA. He throws a lot of walks. Against the Braves on May 20th, he threw 167 pitches. His last time out was June 9th against the Cardinals. He went 6 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs. He got a win, all 5 earned. He walked 4. His season high, by the way, is 7. Did it against the Reds on opening day and the Dodgers on April 21st, and only struck out 6. His season high in strikeouts came on May 9th against the Phillies. He fanned 13. So Richard, in 98 innings, has allowed 84 hits, 45 runs, 43 earned, 3 homers. He has walked 56 and struck out 120. That leads the majors. And he did beat the Cardinals. As he played Pittsburgh, this is his first start against the Pirates in the replay. He is a fastball pitcher that tops out at 94, and when he does allow contact, it's generally on the ground. Counting the phone and iPad, I'm watching 8 screens, says Appachatter. What attention span? What? So there you have it. And so this will be the lineup that Richard will face. Frank Tavares, who had the big game last night, is at short. He'll lead off. Omar Moreno is in center field. He'll bat second. Dave Parker continues to put up MVP numbers. He's hitting .357. He'll hit third and play right. John Milner is in left. He'll clean up. Willie Stargell pops is at first. He'll bat fifth. Renee Stinnett is at third. He'll bat sixth. Ed Ott is the catcher. He'll bat seventh. Phil Garner at second will bat eighth, and Don Robinson on the hill will bat ninth. Defensively for Houston, Denny Walling is in left field, a 6 and a 4. Cesar Cedeno is an 8 and 5 in center. I'm doing just fine today, Robbie. Jose Cruz is a 7 and 7 at third and right. Enos Cabell, 17 game hitting streak, is a 6 at third. Jimmy Sexton is a 4 at short. Art Howe is 6 at second. Dave Bergman is at first. He's a 6. Joe Ferguson behind the plate is a 7 and a 5. And Richard can actually field his position well. He's an 8 range and a 958 fielding percentage. Cabell and Bergman come in for Tavares. Frank at 274, 2 triples, and 18 RBI. And this one starts with a strikeout. A 1-2 fastball at 94, swung on and missed. And there's one out for Moreno at 281, 3 homers and 18 RBI. Good morning, Lorenzo. How are you? Again, Bergman and Cabell come in to play for the bunt. Richard deals. Moreno sends this one into right center. Cedeno is there for the second out, and there's 2 out for Dave Parker. At 357, 13 homers and 50 RBI. So did the stadium up this morning. I'm going to say you can't see it behind the Pirate lineup there. There is a championship banner for the Astros from 1980. So I'm going to say 81 or 82. It's certainly before the renovation, and there's no banner for 86. So early 80s picture here of the Astrodome. Pitch to Parker. Struck him out. Richard got him on a 2-2 changeup on the inside corner. He fans 2. Nothing across for Pittsburgh. Half an inning down. Pittsburgh nothing. Here come the Astros. Don Robinson, who looks like he's wearing a hat 2 sizes too small on the mound, is 3 and 3 on the replay. This is start number 12. He has a 2.78 ERA. He is a fastball pitcher that tops out at 87, and he gives up the fly ball, which in a mammoth park like Houston is not a problem. He last pitched the 9th against the Reds. Went 7 1/3 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs all earned. He walked 1 and struck out 2. 74 1/3 innings overall, 67 hits, 28 runs, 23 earned, 6 homers. He has walked 19 and struck out 54, and he took a loss against Cincinnati. He has not faced Houston this year. His last win came May 29th, a 9-strikeout performance against the Phillies. You know, not to speak ill of those who aren't here, but Gardner just talks it off a lot. I ruined it 2 seconds in. I was doing my Bill O'Reilly impression from when he was on hosted a current affair. Remember back when Bill O'Reilly had hair? And we'll do it live. And so Gardner started to stream early on me, and so he got me doing part of that. But I didn't say the other things. Let's do it. That's not what he said. But do it live. Here's the lineup for Houston. I watched and was looking for a full head of hair. No, that ship for me sailed a long time ago, Appa. Houston's lineup is this. Denny Walling leads off in left field. Enos Cabell at third with a 17-game hitting streak will hit second. Cesar Cedeno will hit third and play center field. Jose Cruz is in right field. He'll clean up. Which rumor is that, Lorenzo? Art Howe bats fifth and plays second. Joe Ferguson behind the plate will hit sixth. Dave Bergman is at first. He'll bat seventh. No Bob Watson in the lineup. Jimmy Sexton is at short and will hit eighth. And J.R. Richard will bat ninth on the mound, and he threw 17 pitches. No, not all the rumors are true. Not all the rumors. Back to your Eve. You go right ahead. You make up some rumors, and I'll tell them to Dave Gardner, and he'll make me pay for that later. Defensively for the Pirates, John Milner is a 6-1 in left. Omar Moreno is a 7-6 in center. Dave Parker a 10-10 in right. Ren Eastonet's at third. Oh my gosh. He's a 2, which is not good. Frank Tavares is a 6 at short. Phil Garner is at second. He's a 5. Willie Stargell is a 6 at first. Ed Ott is a 5 and a 3 behind the plate. And Don Robinson is an 8 on the mound. Walling at 214, a homer, and 3 RBIs. We go to the bottom of the first. Pitch from Robinson is a ground ball to Tavares by the bag at second. Diving stop, throws to first, and Denny's retired. So 1 out for Cabell, who's up to 311 now with his hitting streak. 7 doubles, 3 triples, 5 homers, and 25 RBI. I'll show you the standings after this half inning. Pitch from Robinson, and that's into right. Parker will be there. 2 out. Cesar Cedeno has scuffled, and that's a kind word for it. 220, 5 homers, and 28 RBI. Should be hitting 281. Pirates game 68, Houston game 67. Pitch to Cedeno. In the left, back goes Milner, and he will make the catch to retire the side. So everybody goes down in order in the first. After 1, it's the Pirates nothing, the Astros nothing. And remember, the hide button is where California's loss total is, but they've won 6 straight. So the Dodgers have won 2 straight. In 8 of their last 10, they lead Houston by 3 in the win column in a game and a half overall. But Houston is 23-8 at home. Cincinnati's 6 back. In the East, Pittsburgh finally wins a game, so they're 2.5 up on the Phillies, who lost last night, and 4 up on Montreal. Pittsburgh saving graces. They're 18-12 at home, on the road, I mean. In the West, California's won 6 straight. They lead Kansas City by a game and a half. And in the East, the Yankees lost last night. Baltimore is now 1 back. Lorenzo. I always take bribes. If I got to work for my bribe today. Anyway, the Yankees are a half game over Baltimore, 3 over Milwaukee, and 4 over Boston, but the Red Sox have lost 2 straight. There we go. I had to work for my bribe. Thank you, my friend. And so those are the standings. We got some doozies for you next week. You got Baltimore and Milwaukee. You got New York and Boston. You got Cincinnati and Los Angeles. Go blow up your spaceships. John Milner is at 258 with no homers and 11 RBI. Richard struck out 2 in the first. Starts the second with a line drive to Howe on away. Brings up Stargell Willie at 289. 5 homers and 28 RBI. Did you see yesterday where Major League Baseball, to their credit, did a game, MLB The Show game between the Dodgers and the Yankees? God help you if you were trying to read that chat in that chat room. It was disgusting. Dodgers blew them out, but at least they're trying. And some teams, I think the Twins were doing this yesterday because it was their home opener. It was supposed to be their home opener. Back to the gulag for Lorenzo, sure. And a couple of the minor league teams were having their radio crews do the game on MLB The Show. Pitch to Stargell. Fouled back and off the basket of Ferguson, and Ferguson's hurt. Yep. Ricky Keeler says it's tough to watch any of those classic games on YouTube. The chat just never stops. Absolutely. So we're going to go with Reggie Baldwin. Ferguson just took one off the noggin there, and he can't stay in the game. Baldwin is a 3-1 behind the plate, and with Pittsburgh speed, you're just asking for trouble. 0-1 the count. Stargell, of course, apologized to Ferguson, and Ferguson said, "It's not your fault, buddy, not your fault at all." Pitch to Willie is a liner in the right field. That'll drop for a hit. Stargell's actually going to dig for two. The throw from Cruz into second is not in time. So Stargell slid, and Jimmy Sexton put the glove on, but nothing doing. First hit for anybody. Brings up Rennie Sinnett, who's at 241, 4 homers and 27 RBI. Yeah, I like that. And we talked about this before, Elin. When we had the strike in 81, the Red Sox radio crew of Ken Coleman and John Miller did the game's recreation using Strat. And because it's radio, it's theater of the mind to begin with. Pitch to Sinnett. Gets away from Baldwin. And Stargell goes to third on the wild pitch. The thing is, especially with the minor league teams, is that they're also social coordinators and such, that it keeps them employed. They need those paychecks coming in. And so why not? Keeps them fresh in the community as well. So a 2-1 count to Sinnett. Richard, he and Nolan Ryan kind of go back and forth on who can throw harder with the least control. Pitch to Sinnett. Ground ball to Bergman. Stargell will score, and Bergman misplays it. That ball played him, and Sinnett is on with an error. So the Pirates go up 1-0 here in the second. On the air, and that run is earned. So Ed Ott at 331, 2 homers and 15 RBI. Throw to first to net is, oh God, he's gone. 96%. Wheel pitch out. Pitch to Ott, there goes to net. A throw down to Sexton. Nope. That's 3. Forced to net. And when you got a ramen noodle arm behind the plate, you don't stay up in the majors all that long. Ott, I gave you his numbers already, didn't I? 331, 2 homers, and 15 RBI? Well, if not, you got him again. Elin says, I'm currently on the bench because my station sponsors all hit pause. Yep, it's a shame. I was looking forward to my first baseball season. Hopefully it's just temporary. We're not doing any high school sports here again to the fall. And all the schools here in Vermont are closed for the rest of the year. They're doing online learning and stuff. My sisters have some great stories about that. Pitch to Ott is a liner up the middle. Sinnett will round third and hold, and Ed's got himself a single. So 2 out and 1 on for Garner at 250, 3 homers and 15 RBI. Houston really can't afford to be losing these at home. And as we said in the open, Pittsburgh needs all the breathing room they can get. Ott goes, fouled back behind the plate. We'll do it again. 0-1 the count. Hit and run was on. Throw to first. Ott was leaning, but he's back. Now the pitch to Garner in the left field. That should score Sinnett. Walling has it. Sinnett will tag. And they're going to try to throw home. The throw to Baldwin. Sinnett's got a full head of steam and will score. And Ott will go to second, 2 out, and 2-0 Pittsburgh. For Don Robinson, who's hitting .304, imagine that, 7 for 23 with an RBI. Same in Wyoming, says Elin. The good news is that baseball's not an official high school sport here, so everybody plays American Legion. Hopefully, you guys are pretty rural. I would venture to guess, once you passed your peak, they might at least try to get in some training sessions. And you, being an excellent radio voice, could find a whole new audience for that. Pitch to Robinson. Struck him out. So he got crossed up on a 2-2 fastball at 96, but Pittsburgh draws first blood. 2 runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. Inning and a half in the books. It's the Pirates 2, the Astros nothing. Robbie says peak in Texas is May 6th. We are supposedly 6 days away from our peak, but that doesn't mean that the next day we go back and have Woodstock on Church Street. So our peak is supposed to be the 9th. That's a good sign. Jose Cruz is at .350. That's a good sign for Houston. 3 homers and 36 RBI. Robinson threw 10 pitches in the first. There's a couple. The University of Washington is doing a projection site, and they're projecting when we'll hit peak cases and such. Some places like Virginia and Maryland are a good month and a half away. Pitch to Cruz is a ground ball to short. Tavares over to Stargell for the out. Now remember, that's all mathematical calculations and predictions. That's why all those stats are important, so they can model all this stuff. Art Howe at .296. 5 homers and 27 RBI. Robinson deals. Howe into left center. Back goes Moreno and Milner, and that's going to hit the top of the wall. So that's a double for Howe. First hit for the Astros. And that'll bring in Reggie Baldwin. At .244, a homer and 7 RBI. Reggie had to put on the tools of ignorance rather late when Joe Ferguson got a foul ball off his dome. So Howe on second, and 1 out. 2-0 Pirates here, bottom of the second. Pitch from Baldwin, or to Baldwin, is a base hit into center field. Howe will score. Baldwin's trying for 2. He slides, it is in there. So 2-1 Pittsburgh as the Astros get on the board. For Dave Bergman, at .240, he's 6 for 25 with 5 singles and a double. So runner on second is a tying run. Yeah, Lorenzo says there are a lot of dashboards that track everything about COVID-19 on a real-time basis. There's a lot of information out there, and we may not need to know it on a minute-by-minute basis, but there are people who desperately need to know that. And so we can try to get the best information in hopes that we may not be, under safer home coordination. Went out this morning from our weekly CVS run, and man, is it a ghost town here. 40,000 people in the city. Pitch to Bergman is a base hit into right center field. Baldwin, who has the speed of B, will hold at third. And that brings up Jimmy Sexton at 181, a homer and 8 RBI. You know what? Jimmy Sexton looks a bit like Clinton Parks, doesn't he? So Bergman leads off at first. Runners in the corners, 1 out. Tying run is on third. Pitch from Robinson. Sexton strikes out. He swung on and missed an 82-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch. And that's 2 out for J.R. Richard, who's hitting .118. 4 for 34 with 8 strikeouts. He does have 2 RBI. 2-1 Pirates, 2 outs, bottom of the second. Pitch from Robinson. Into center field, Moreno makes the catch to retire the side, but the Astros break on through with a run on 3 hits and no errors. They leave on 2 after 2. It's Pittsburgh 2, Houston 1. So through 9 batters, J.R. Richard has thrown 39 pitches, 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run. and 3 strikeouts. Anything that's leaking back to WHO or a college or a university, Robbie, is going to be pretty accurate. Tavares struck out his first time up. Infield back. Tavares drops one down. I knew that would happen. Bergman picks it up, will not make a throw, and Tavares has himself a single. So that's the 3rd hit for the Pirates. And that brings up Moreno, who's 0 for 1. Throw to first to Bergman. Tavares is back. And now they'll pinch out, and Tavares doesn't go. So it's a ball and no strikes to Moreno. Moreno is going to bunt. So Bergman and Cabell come in. Pitch from Richard. There goes Tavares. A throw down to Sexton, and Tavares had that one stolen in his sleep. That's number 20 for Frank, and look at his stealing percentage for 3rd here. Throw to second. They do the Wheel of Fortune play, and Tavares is back. So 1-1 count. And here's the problem with the Pirates. And Moreno bunts. Baldwin grabs it, throws to first, Howe covering, and with 1 out, you get a runner on 3rd. So a bunt single, a stolen base, and then a sac bunt. Holy dead ball, Batman. Here's Dave Parker. He struck out his first time up. 2-1 Pirates in the 3rd. Ball 4. So Parker took 4 pitches outside the zone. Richard not a happy camper. John Milner is 0 for 1, and the Pirates have runners in the corners. On the corners, 1 out for Milner. Yep, Lorenzo's right. Do what they say, shelter in place, and not become a statistic ourselves. Parker goes. There's a line drive to 3rd. Cabell's got it. Over to Bergman for 2. So a double play, line drive. The hit and run was on, and that was just an easy play. Parker was 3/4 of the way down to second. Pirates don't score. They get a hit. They strand 1 after 2.5. 2-1 Pirates. And so through 9 batters, Robinson had 28 pitches, 2 hits, 2 innings rather, because Uncle Ron can read, 3 hits and a strikeout. And man, we're running way over. Pitch to Walling is a ground ball to Stargell for the first out. Enos Cabell is 0 for 1. Robinson from the line, ground ball to Tavares, over to Stargell. Cabell can run, but he's out on a bang-banger. 2 out for Cedeno, who's 0 for 1. Pitch to Cesar is a fly ball to right. Parker makes the catch, and that will retire the side. After 3, nothing across this time for Houston. It's the Pirates 2, the Astros 1. Lorenzo's going to listen to me take a drink. .35 Productions, or Ray Arnott Jr. is our latest follower. He makes number 81 to the channel. Here live on Twitch. Stargell doubled and scored his first time up. That was in the 2nd. And he laces that one right to Jose Cruz for a single. So Willie is 2 for 2. See, Lorenzo doesn't have his headphones on today. Drink away. It is Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. Throw to first. Stargell is back. Sinet 0 for 1. Stole a base and scored. It is good. Pitch to Sinet is a bunt. Baldwin will throw to first. Howe covering. It goes 2-3 on the sack bunt. And there's 1 out for Ed Ott, who singled. Ott, dressed in all that yellow. Pitch. Struck him out. That's 4 for Richard. An 0-2 change. Swung on and missed. I think Ott was looking fastball, and JR just pulled the yo-yo string. Brings up Garner, who has an RBI. He must have had a sac fly. Yep. Drove in the second Pirate run. 2-1 Pittsburgh here. 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Pitch to Garner. Liner to Sexton, and that will retire the side. Pirates get a hit and leave him on second. After 3.5, it's still 2-1. We teased the big home run differential for right-handed batters. As we said, the Astrodome is it's a mammoth park. Left-handers -6 in the batting average, righties -8. Home runs -6 for lefties, and righties -48%. I would think outside of Cheyenne and Laramie, that would be difficult for anything to spread because you're so spread out. Jose Cruz is 0 for 1. Pitch into center. There's Moreno right there for the out. So 1 away for Howe, who doubled and scored the lone Houston run in the second. And there's a ground ball to Tavares. He throws it to first. And there's 2 away. For Reggie Baldwin, who doubled and drove in the run. Bottom of the 4th, 2-1 Pirates. 4 hits for Pittsburgh, 3 for Houston. Pitch to Reggie. Up the middle, base hit. So Reggie, who, as I said, did not start the game, is 2 for 2. He's now hitting .279. Dave Bergman singled his first time up. Robinson still kind of cruising right along. Struck him out. He got Bergman to swing and miss on an 89-mile-an-hour fastball, and that will retire the side. No runs, a hit. Houston strands a runner. After 4, Pittsburgh 2, Houston 1. Oh, Jackson Hole because of the tourism. One thing nice that they are doing here is that they're showing recoveries here, and that's important. And as people get the virus and do that, you'll see more talk about recoveries. But right now, the health officials are concerned about infection rates and mortality rates. I know it's kind of grim and gruesome, but that stuff needs to be out there, too. Don Robinson is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. So let's just talk baseball. Richard deals. Robinson strikes out. A late called strike. Fastball at 93. And that's 5 for Richard. Dave Gardner behind the plate. Listen to a hockey game here. I think the Arrows are playing across town, and Dave just, yeah, whatever. So through 18 batters, J.R. Richards, 65 pitches, 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits. 2 runs, 1 earned. He has walked 1 and struck out 5. Tavares struck out and singled and stole a base. And this time he grounds 1 to Cabell at third. Over to first. Cabell has to cannon 1 over there, and that's the second out. Brings up Omar Moreno, who had a sac bunt his last time up. He's 0 for 1. Richard delivers, and there's another ground ball to Cabell. Over to first, and it's time for the commercial. Halfway home. It's Pittsburgh 2, Houston 1. No need to apologize, Elon. That's quite all right. It is real life, and it is what it is. Here's our summary. Rene Sinet, and that error made it 1-0 Pittsburgh. Then Garner brought him home on a sac fly to make it 2-0. Joe Ferguson got injured when Willie Stargell smashed him with a foul ball. And then Reggie Baldwin, his replacement, doubled to score Art Howe, and that's how we got the 2-1. Both pitchers throwing pretty well. 4 hits for Robinson through 16 batters and 2 strikeouts. And Richard, 4 hits through 5. Walked 1 and struck out 5. And that's where we are. Here in the bottom of the 5th. Big Clue, how are you? And nope, no one's heard any trash cans being pounded in the Astro dugout. And Robbie got an ad for Wendy's and TurboTax. Jimmy Sexton struck out his first time up, one of the two on Don Robinson's dance card. They played for the bunt, ground ball to short. Tavares over to Stargell, 1 out. Brings up J.R. Richard, who's 0 for 1. Robinson delivers. Ground ball to Stargell. He'll underhand it to Robinson on the bag, 2 away. TurboTax and Alienware. Okay. Well, I'll take all my pennies I can get. Danny Walling is 0 for 2. Robinson threw 18 batters, 52 pitches. 4 2/3 innings. 4 hits. A run, it was earned. He hasn't walked anybody and struck out 2. Pitch to Walling. Struck him out. He got him on an off-speed pitch to swing and miss. And after 5, it's still the Buccos 2, the Colt 45s 1. Big clue. It's a sunny day. I wish I could say it was here. It's just kind of cold and windy. We're not getting the rain that our friends in southern New England are. The wife and him are eating our Longhorn takeout for lunch. What you got? You got to share. You can share with the group. There's only 13 of us here. And then he's taking in a ball game. Oh, life is good. Well, thanks for watching, buddy. Dave Parker walked and struck out. He's 0 for 1. Pitch from Richard is into center field. Back goes Cedeno. And as I said, this is a big park. 1 out. John Milner's 0 for 2. Before, in this era anyway, I don't know what year they put the new rug in the Astrodome. Of course, all the rugs got changed every 3 or 4 years. Parm-covered chicken. Ooh. And sirloin combo with salad and potatoes. Mr. Clue, I will not be over for lunch. Appachatter says 65 in southern Tennessee, sunny with a slight breeze. And that's a look at the weather. Here's a look at what's going on in your neck of the woods this morning. Milner's 0 for 2. Pitch from Richard is into left field. Walling has it for the out. 2 out. And that does sound perfect, man. It's like 30. What, Alexa, what's the weather?
Currently, in Burlington, it's 46 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. You can expect more of the same today, with a high of 53 degrees and a low of 37 degrees. Enjoy your afternoon.
Thank you. Ratcast is punching in.
You're welcome.
Lorenzo wants to know what my love affair is with the Astros. Hey, there are 4 divisions, and there's 8 teams, and they're playing in a possible NLCS preview. Lorenzo breathes deeply, counts to 10, and tries to find out who my character is on Eve. Stargell is 2 for 2. He singled and doubled and scored. That came in the second, the run. And in Texas, it's cloudy with a chance of meatballs. And you're welcome, Appachatter. Offered to alert me about severe weather. Pitch to Willie. Struck him out. That's 6. And that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 5.5, 2-1 Pirates. I would think, Ricky, that suspension might get rolled over if we don't play this year. Just having to put that in there. I would venture to guess that will roll over. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, the football field here. Of course, it was a multi-purpose stadium. I think, Elin, they will do what they can to start the season by July 1st. And if they can't, they'll probably scrub. But there are rumors of a July to November season, and that they would try to get in 110 games, including double headers. But it's April 3rd. We are a ways off, I think, from having to make that decision. If hockey or basketball scrub, I think you might see a higher chance of it. But they're not starting before July 1st. Plus, let's say that we get to May 1st and we're kind of looking at the other side of this. We're starting to. they're going to have to go down and do some sort of training camp again. And I would love a Christmas World Series. Don't know if it will roll over, since it says after the 2020 World Series. Might be an unwritten rule not to bring it even back in 21. If they don't want to stay away with no fans, then you might not see a season. I think, though, when they made that, Ricky, that it was a case of, I don't think anyone could foresee really what would happen as far as there being no seasons. Big clue, when I want logic and cool-headed analysis and an absence of hysterical overreaction, I'll go to you. But for now, just let me be. A whiny blame thing, but anybody but the Dodgers. Okay, Tommy. I didn't realize that Tommy Lasorda had replaced Lorenzo in the chat. Wink, wink. Cabell is 0 for 2. Pitch from Robinson. And there's a liner in the center field. That's a single, and Enos' hitting streak hits 18 games. Tavares got a late jump on that. Anyway, Houston and, of course, later the Metrodome. Those football fields were all chalked off by hand. They did not dye the turf to match the lines, and so it was. And yes, it was all chalk. There was no paint. I miss Mookie Betts. I got his jersey, of course. Goes with my PK Subban and my couple Anthony Rendon jerseys of players that no longer are on the team. Cesar Cedeno is 0 for 2. Pitched from Robinson is a ground ball to short. Might be 2. No, only play is to first. Stargell's there, and Cedeno is retired. So 1 out, and Cabell, the tying run in scoring position. Yeah, Action PC has gone a long way. A Christmas World Series and an NBA canceled, but it would be the best Christmas ever. So says someone with a nickname that comes close to Festivus for the rest of us. Pitch to Cruz is a ground ball to Stadan over to first, and Cabell will hold. So 2 out. How's life in the gulag, Lorenzo? Art Howe is 1 for 2. Has himself a double and a run scored. That came in the second. Pitch from Robinson. Ground ball to Stargell. Takes it to the bag himself, and that will retire the side. We go to the 7th inning. It's Pittsburgh 2, Houston 1. The Astros get a hit and strand the runner. So Stinnett, Ott, and Garner to face Richard, who's only at 85 through 6. Stinnett, 0 for 1. I'll get to that in a second. And stole the base. Marshall Dillon's deputy on Gunsmoke. Yes. Good job. Lorenzo's been demoted back to first division. Our offense has gone dormant. No more caviar for you. Pitch to Stinnett is a ground ball base hit left side. So that's the 5th hit for Pittsburgh. And they'll bring up Ott, who's 1 for 2. Struck out and singled. Pitch from Richard. There goes Stinnett. Hit and run is on. Bergman's only play is himself. Steps on the bag. Ott's retired. Stinnett goes into scoring position. 1 out for Phil Garner, who has a sac fly and is 0 for 1. I believe Festus was after Chester. But not like Marshall Dillon was always after Miss Kitty. Pitch to Garner. Struck him out. That's 7. A 92-mile-an-hour fastball right down Broadway. And that's 2 out for the pitcher, Don Robinson, who has struck out twice. And all this talk about Gunsmoke, Lorenzo, is more stuff you would never hear on a Fortnite stream. Bergman plays for himself. He made the play for himself. Don't get all dirty on me, Berglund. Don't get all dirty on me. That's my job to ruin the stream, not yours. Pitch to Robinson is a ground ball base hit left side. Stinnett will score. It's 3-1 Pittsburgh. And Richard just snaps the ball back in his glove. Tavares 1 for 3. He's struck out, singled, and stole the base. Through 27 batters, J.R. Richard, 93 pitches, 6 2/3 innings, 6 hits, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. If you are a member of the Pine Tar Baseball group on Facebook, Kurt Berglund is going to be making the best of the 90s, so go and give him what teams you want to see made up for Pine Tar Baseball today. It is Dave's job, of course. Those little Fortnite playing miscreants would never know about the Dillion deputies. When do I start Fortnite streams? Never. Never. Pitch to Tavares is a liner in the right center field. Cruz will pick it up. Robinson will hold it second. And that's a 7th hit. So runners on first and second. 2 out for Moreno, who is 0 for 2. Not a problem. Pitch from Richard. Struck him out. JR got him to swing and a miss at a 96-mile-an-hour cutter out of the zone. Stretch time, a run on 3 hits, no errors, 3-1 Pittsburgh. You notice there's a competition how long they can hold those last few notes. Reggie Baldwin, Dave Bergman, and Jimmy Sexton here in the bottom of the 7th. Reggie has singled and doubled and drove in the lone run. Ground ball to short. Tavares deep in the hole. Over to Stargell. 1 out. Dave Bergman is 1 for 2. He has struck out and singled. 7 hits for Pittsburgh, 5 for the Astros. 3-1 Pirates. The Astros have an error. Pittsburgh is left 5 on. Houston 4. Pitch to Bergman is a ground ball to Garner. Over to first. 2 out. And now I'll bring up Mr. Sexton, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Robinson cruising right along. If he gets the win, it would be his 4th. Here's the pitch. Sexton pops it up. Right side. Garner makes it catch for the out. You see, this is a good... When I was a kid... Oh, did I say... did I mess that up, Kurt? I'm not going there. It'll be Parker, Milner, and Stargell here in the 8th. Dave is 0 for 2. He has walked and struck out. Pitch to Parker. Struck him out. He'll go down again, and Richard is fan 9. Here's Milner. He's 0 for 3. You see that back line there in the infield? It must have been. No, all good. Okay. Sometimes I wonder, because I say a lot of things on here. So you see that back line in the infield? As a kid, I always thought that was the hit line. That if the ball rolled past that second white line, the one behind the base paths, that was a hit. I didn't realize until a few years later that's just where the dirt portion of the infield would end. I never understood why they put that line there. It's not like there's any reasonable, position switch between the infield and the outfield. Pitch to Milner is a line drive to right. Cruz is there, 2 away. Brings up Stargell. Willie is 2 for 3. He has singled, scored, and doubled. And JR is looking for a complete game here. Pitch to Stargell. Into right. Cruz has it to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. 7.5 in the books. It's still the Pirates 3, the Astros 1. So Richard will bat. He's only had 109 pitches through 8. And he's pitching a pretty good ball game. And if you're going to leave the pitcher in, leading off isn't going to hurt you. Robinson is only throwing 80 through 7. Richard is 0 for 2. Now he's 0 for 3 as Robinson got him to swing and miss on an 87-mile-an-hour fastball. That might be it, Festus, or Appa, or Steve. I never thought of that. That makes a lot of sense. Denny Walling is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Robinson threw 27 batters, 85 pitches, 7 in the third innings, 5 hits, and 4 strikeouts. Pitch from Robinson. Walling laces that one into right, but Parker makes a sliding catch along the line. He robbed Walling of a double. And that's how Dave Parker will probably win the NL MVP. He has played so well. Cabell is 1 for 3. His hitting streak is now at 18 games. Pitch from Robinson. Ground ball to Tavares over to first, and Stargell has it for the out. We go to the ninth. Nothing across for Houston. After 8, 3-1 Pittsburgh. Stinnett, Ott, and Garner to face Richard. The home run line for the Bad News Bears in breaking training, which was filmed right here at the Astrodome. Stinnett has scored twice. 1 for 2. And has himself a stolen base. Richard, looking for a 10K gain, has 9. And Stinnett will be pinch hit for by Ken Maka, who was 1 for 4. A 212 hitter in real life with 5 RBI. 1 for 4, he has singled and struck out on the replay so far. Pitch from Richard, and there's a line drive foul, and somebody from Katy, K-A-T-Y, will make that catch. M-O-U-S-E. So the count goes to 2-2. Richard popped up. Baldwin takes off the mask, steps on home plate, and dropped it. He dropped it. And so Maka's on with the air. How embarrassing there. How many rounds? In a major, it's a best of 3 sets out of 5. Knowing what you have, it's best of 5. First to 3. Not too many. There's never too many. Tennis is great. And you got to win. Yeah, best of 5, Dave. Ed Ott is 1 for 3. He has struck out and singled. Richard, disgusted. Line drive to Sexton, and Maka isn't going to go anywhere. 1 out for Garner, who's 0 for 2. He is an RB sac fly for an RBI and a strikeout. I think, as I'm looking at the amount of people here in the stream, that you guys have given me my most watched stream live on Twitch. We got 18 people here. Say hi. We want to hear from you. Pitch to Garner is a ground ball to Howe over to first. Al says 20. Nice. So 2 out for Robinson, who was 1 for 3 with an RBI. And has struck out twice. I imagine he's staying in. He will. Maka on third. Richard gets his 10th. So Robinson swings and misses on the fastball, and that will retire the side. The Pirates strand 1 on the air. No runs, no hits. They leave 6 on overall. After 8.5, it's still 3-1 Pittsburgh. Partey. Nadal Federer would be best of 5. Yep. But in the majors, regular matches would be best of 3. But since you're playing a quick play game, I would do, and since it's majors, I would do best of 5. Hey, you guys are such a great help. 81 followers now. Over 570 on YouTube. Thank you all so much. Cedeno, Cruz, and Howe to face Robinson. Don's at 95 pitches. Cedeno is overdue like a pregnant kitten, or pregnant cat. He's 0 for 3. He's still hitting 216 on the year. Pitch from Robinson. Struck him out. That's 5. Robinson got him on an 87-mile-an-hour fastball in the inside corner. And that brings up Jose Cruz. He's 0 for 3. Remember, player of the game, and then the rest of the day in baseball. And we'll let you know what we're doing Sunday at noon. Well, Lorenzo, you're a sub, so that won't matter for you, will it? Well, Robbie, that's what we do. We bring each other entertainment. Pitch to Cruz is a ground ball to Garner over to first, and I believe we are down to the last chance saloon. which is Art Howe, as you hear the F-35s take off behind me. He is 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Pittsburgh. They've left 6 on. A run on 5 hits and 2 errors for Houston. They've left 4 on. And Don Robinson is probably going to be our digital dice player of the game. Pitch to Howe is popped up out to the screen, and the band plays on. So the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Art Howe. Pittsburgh with a win will go to 36-22. Houston would drop to 35-22. Pitch to Howe is a fly ball to left. Milner in the corner, and that's the ball game. So the Pirates have won 2 straight. They shut down the Astros 3-1. Don Robinson, 9 innings, 5 hits, a run it was earned. He didn't walk anybody and struck out 5. J.R. Richard goes the route, 9 innings, 7 hits. He falls to 4 and 5, if you can believe it. 3 runs, 2 of them earned. He walked 1 and struck out 10, and he could have thrown 159 pitches. Thanks, Eva. Elon's going to do some basketball on YouTube in a moment. And Mark, Wimbledon on the radio is intense, isn't it? Forecourt to the backcourt. The forehand side into the ad court to the deuce. Comes in on the volley and puts it away. 15-love. So it's Flag Day, June 14th. And so let's play the rest of the day in baseball for you. The Reds beat the Cubs 5-3. Manny Sarmiento gets the win. George Foster 2 for 3 with, oh, come on, it always scrolls up. With his 13th homer, with 4 RBI. Okay. Giants beat the Phils, so even better news for Pittsburgh, 3-2. Vida Blue goes to 5-6. Darrell Evans with his 8th of the year. Toronto doubleheader against Milwaukee. They sweep 6-2 in the opener with Roy Lee Howell with a 6th home run. Don Kirkwood throws a complete game, 6 strikeouts over 9. In the second game, Garvin gets the win, 12-6. Larry Heisel with his 16th of the year in a losing effort. Jerry Augustine takes the loss. St. Louis 13, Atlanta 4. Bob Forsch gets the win. Lou Brock a stolen base. From Yankee Stadium, Seattle beats the Yankees 7-5. Tom House goes to 4-4. And Bob Stinson gets his first of the year. Oakland beats Boston 5-4. Louis Tiant takes a loss. Pete Broberg goes to 3-1. Jim Essien 3 for 4 with a double. The Orioles beat California 4-1. Jim Palmer goes to 7-4. Kenny Singleton hits 2 homers. He has 9. Texas stunned Chicago 13-1. John Matlack goes to 7-2. Bump Wills with 2 home runs, 5 now on the year for him. He had 2 RBIs. The Rangers stole 5 bases. Kansas City 4, Detroit 1. Paul Splittorff goes to 5-8. Amos Otis with a homer. Cleveland 9, Minnesota 4. David Clyde goes to 3-3. Johnny Grubb with his 9th of the year. Montreal and San Diego. Pittsburgh's loving this. San Diego sweeps a doubleheader. 4-1 in Game 1. Rasmussen gets the win, his first. Dave Winfield with his 3rd home run of the year. And Desquito gets the win in 12 in Game 2. They beat him 4-3. Dan Schatzeder with a loss. And the last game on the dance card, the Dodgers beat the Mets. The Mets pound out 16 hits and lose 7-6 in 15 innings. Garvey with his 9th of the year. Castillo gets the win. And so Thursday's game or Sunday's game will be Baltimore at California at Baltimore. That's the next one on this replay. Pittsburgh's lead is Philly over Philly 3.5, 5.5 over the Spos. Dodgers 2.5 over Houston. Baltimore is in first place in the East, half game over New York, 4 over Milwaukee, 4.5 over Boston. California, half game lead over Kansas City. Next game in this replay, Sunday night at 7 and Monday night at 7. We're going to do, I think, a football game at noon on Sunday. So the next 2 streams for this will be at night. Until then, I'm Ron Juckett. We'll talk to you for Dave Gardner's stream tonight, and we're recording digitally licensed a bit. Be good to each other. It's all we have. Take care. Bye-bye.